From the House of Representatives, a motion is moved for the setting up of an ad hoc committee to investigate what it termed the invasion of property and arrest of persons by the service since May 29, 2016. Representative Kingsley Chinda had presented the matter as a motion of urgent national importance, stating that the trend, if left unchecked, could result in the introduction of self-help by citizens.
The House is conscious of the powers of the SSS as enumerated in Sections 2, subsection 3 and Section 6 of the National Security Agencies Act 1986, which does not include the investigation and prosecution of corruption and abuse of office.
I don't want members to prejudge or make statements that would defeat the intents of the investigation that we're going to conduct. If you allow me, I'll plead with us to hold on until this investigation is done in line with the prayers of the motion. Those in favor of the motion say aye. Aye. Those against it say nay. Nay. The ayes have it.
Going by what the revelations made by the DSS.
It's a different ball game when the former chairman of the Nigerian Bar Association Onitsha branch, Mr. Chuka Obele Chuka, opened his mouth to speak.
One violation, one law that was violated.
He called for the immediate arraignment of the 7 judges allegedly corrupt.
Going by what the revelations made by the DSS, I believe that the judges ought to suffer the full weight of the law. But if you listen to those who argue otherwise, they have been sentimental, emotional about it. Why I'm worried and why I speak in the manner I speak is that last year, in a public lecture, the Chief Justice of Nigeria made a startling revelation. He said the NJC had indicted 5% of the judges employed in the various cadres of the bench. So I'm looking forward to seeing these judges arraigned. And the effect of the arraignment will be that the NJC must quickly convene an emergency meeting to suspend all of them, all that are standing trial, because they can be standing trial for acts of gratification and expect to continue sitting for those who are still sitting. It will send a clear signal that nobody is above the law. I despise every judge who is corrupt.
In the heat of the moment, the vice president, who is also a senior advocate of Nigeria, reluctantly made comments about the arrests and raid of judges' homes by the DSS. Mr. Yemi Osinbajo rather called for a consensus fight against the problem of corruption in the country.
But as a general position, my position is that we are dealing here with an existential problem. It accounts for everything. The reason why, look at what happened in the Northeast. 20,000 people have been killed so far in the Northeast. Soldiers, many soldiers lost their lives. I'm speaking to some of the widows of these soldiers. You are just outraged by the fact that people embezzled the money that was supposed to have been used to equip the soldiers. Equip them physically, give them bulletproof vests, put them in proper armored tanks rather than fake armored tanks. These are the sorts of things that anywhere else in the world, the outrage will be such that you and I will literally be standing up on the streets to say, where are these guys who did this? And if we don't feel that way, it just continues to diminish us. It diminishes us each time.
In an open letter dated 11th October 2016 to the Chief Justice of Nigeria, Justice Mahmood Mohammed, the Socio-Economic Rights and Accountability Project's SARAP requested that he, through the National Judicial Council, takes over the cases of the 7 judges from the Department of State Service. SARAP expressed serious concern that the NJC has for many years failed to appropriately deal with several cases of corrupt judges by failing to refer those cases to the EFCC and ICPC for prosecution.
You see, as far back as January 2016, this year precisely, we did some investigation. We had a report launched, and we sent a copy of this report to NJC. We sent a copy to the CJN. We also sent a copy to the Attorney General. You see, in that report, you will see this. What happened is they are not new entirely, sincerely. You see, we've seen them. We foresaw this, And that was why we wrote the CJ and we sent a copy of the report and we said, CJ, please. You see, it is not just enough to use civil sanctions against these erring judges. You see, let the public see us to be transparent, to be accountable. It is not enough to just use civil sanctions, but why not? We also recommended criminal sanctions against these erring judges. And then, you see, since January, the public will have seen us as being serious in the fight against corruption. It is not now that the executive has come out now to start to fight against our corrupt judges that the citizens now see us as unserious. It has eroded public confidence in the judiciary. And this is why we believe we will have averted this. The NJC will have avoided this. So we are giving them 7 days ultimatum. The NJC refer these judges to FCC, refer them to ICPC, let ICPC, FCC, let them investigate them. If they are found culpable, then that goes for it. Let them be prosecuted.
In an exclusive interview with Channels Television, a professor of law, Issa Sage, maintains that lawyers, especially the senior ones, are responsible for the rot recorded in the judicial system. This may not be unconnected with the fact that the law clears criminal suspects of guilt until proven guilty by the law. Perhaps the reason why the laws are put in use to outlaw the law. He insists the senior lawyers corrupt the judges, stating that the activities of the DSS remain lawful.
The issue of lawfulness is not a problem at all. Obviously, it was lawful because there are only 2 categories of persons in this country who enjoy immunity from criminal prosecution or from searches, in fact, from criminal processes. The president, vice president, the governors, deputy governors, that's all. Every other Nigerian is totally subjected to the full criminal weight of our law. So the situation had become an epidemic.
As it stands,
and I don't think NJC is established and has the capacity to deal with an epidemic of these proportions.
the NJC lacks the capability.
It doesn't have the capacity at all. It's supposed to deal with a normal thing when 2 or 3 people have misconducted themselves, and the whole process of appointing a committee to hear the petitions and then make recommendations, all those things for normalcy, not to deal with an epidemic which was rocking, in fact, which was going to bring the whole country down. Because if you shoot down, if you destroy democratic hopes that if a person goes into an election and the majority votes for him, he'll be declared a winner. Once you destroy that, we are aiming for civil war. We are aiming, people are going to get to power by guns rather than by votes. Thankfully, they've been released on their own self-recognition, which is very good. But as for the Nigerian Bar Association, they have no moral right to speak. It sounds very bad in their mouths to condemn and to criticize, because the members of the Nigerian Bar Association are the ones responsible for where we are today in judicial corruption and total corruption of our electoral system and the whole criminal administration system. Members of the Nigerian Bar Association, the senior ones, are the ones responsible for it. So it sounds very ill and very bad in their mouths to begin to protest and say things. They are the ones who carry billions of naira and millions of dollars to these poor judges. They are the ones who corrupted our judges. It's the lawyers who corrupted the judges.
Section 36 of the 1999 Constitution states that any person may be arrested on reasonable suspicion of having committed a criminal offense, with an exception to only the president, vice president, governors, and deputy governors who enjoy immunity from prosecution while in office.